Howdy ho, amigos. Chelsea with a beautiful scoreline that we haven't seen in a long time. 8 0. The Ark sank in an 8-0 flood at the bridge. It rained, it poured. Was it the best performance in the world? No. Noah is a very, very small team. It became apparent from the very beginning. Wildly, this team made Chelsea mistakes. They tried to play out the back against the Premier League game that has the youngest average age filled with runners in one of the hardest pressers in the world. I would say, even it's the Premier League. What a mistake! That's the lesson for you right there. And they didn't concede a penalty through it. Actually, not the penalty. They didn't concede one goal through it, but a second goal through it. Madness. Why did they not play a low block and just kick the ball in behind Tyreek George, into our weak side with Dizazi and try to hit us on the counter is crazy to me. I will say, though, about Noah that I'm trying to focus on their positives first. That was the best start if I'm focusing on the positives, but I want to speak about them first. They tried to play out the back, big mistake. But at the very beginning, first couple of minutes, they looked a little terrifying to us, and they were able to play through our lines with 1-2s and find space in behind our midfielders quite easily, and then through our center backs. They played in a couple of balls, filtered through the lines beautifully. Now, another amazing thing about them, they were on target several times. They hit the target. Now, the problem is they hit the target too precisely. They hit like the target. They hit Jorgensen right in the chest or in the hands, but they were on target. So those two things, they were able to make those plays, nice little plays, 1-2s outside the box to filter into the Chelsea penalty area, and also be on target, a little too on target, if you know what I mean. Having said that, again, they're mistaken on playing the back and going to that they were shooting right at Jorgensen. Let's talk about Jorgensen. I wanted him to be tested. He wasn't. He's going to get some good stats because of shots being hit directly at him. The pressure wasn't too high to coming out to play. I didn't feel that comfortable with him, but I don't know if it's that, the defense or him. But certainly he wasn't tested, and we really need. A lot of us don't feel that comfortable with Sanchez, and hopefully we have somebody that can come in. We're hoping Jorgensen's that guy for now because that's who we've got. I mean, we have, I think, like 8 goalkeepers. This is just craziness, and one of them should be more than capable of replacing. When you have that many in your Chelsea, you need a better goalkeeper. So many of them should be replacing Sanchez, but if not, being capable of subbing for him and being able to do the job that Maresca wants. I believe Jorgensen was brought in precisely for that. Anyway, today, no significant errors, in my opinion. I enjoyed watching Tyreek George. He was substituted in the 60-something minute. But young, strong. I mean, I think he made some youngin' mistakes at some point. He wanted to be in the highlight reel and maybe score a little bit too much once we had a 2 or 3 go in. But other than that, I mean, he wasn't challenged. He did all right, but very happy to see him get minutes. Keenan Drewsbury Hall. I lost my ball on Drewsbury Hall. Hall, I feel so sad for this man because I don't think he's ever going to play in the A team. He's a 10 or offensive midfielder-ish. And there's way too many of those going around. And today he plays in this weird position where we do the back 3, and Vega was coming in as the 6 or inverted left back. And so he gets to be sort of an 8, which I think he was doing that at Leicester. It's not going to happen in the first team, but he did a decent job. I think he was quite a little bit unremarkable to me. He missed a scoring opportunity, and he did find a penalty for Nkunku. So not bad overall. I'd like to see. I love seeing this Rock Saki guys. These are the games where we can. I would have liked to see that more actually, where maybe Cassidy would have been playing from the beginning, and maybe these young guys. But yeah, I mean, we got to keep this B team happy or whatever we want to call it. Let's call it the Cup game. I've been calling it since the last video. I've been calling it the Cup game. I think the B team is a little too unkind to these players. I loved seeing Cassidy just a few minutes. He played a nice little ball through. Um, Still potential. I hope he's not one of those that just stays in potential. He might end up going on loan again, given how many bodies we have in the midfield. But who knows? The injury roster has been very very clean and very empty for Chelsea lately. Knock on wood. Let's hope it stays that way. We saw Carney come in late to the game. He brought energy and sort of into the match, but he wasn't very sharp or precise. I don't think he had enough time to show anything special. And I think that brings us to Mudrik, which I want to focus on. Good job. Good job. I think, I wish, he quite easily can beat his marker on the edge of the box on the sides and whip one in. He's not that precise, but he whipped them a beautiful one into Gu, which didn't have much force. Which, by the way, I love that guy. I don't think he had a great game. I think it was that weird playing the two up front within Kunku and Gu, but he does amazing runs. And if we had someone like um, Enzo Fernandez is supposed to be, we would find not only him but the runs that Jackson does a little bit more often, and that would be great. But we don't. Although Casero is starting to find the big obvious ones when the center back split. He's found a couple already. We saw a goal from Jackson that came from one of those plays. But yeah, he's the kind of player that can make those very old school number 9 runs, and I really like him. I wish I could see more of him. I know we're really double down betting on Jackson to be that player, and if we need to give him the minutes, then so be it. I'd love to see Q. The problem is that comes at the sacrifice of Nkunku, which, again, I don't think he had the greatest of matches, but he's effective. He scores, puts the penalty away. I still feel there's an amazing player there that I don't know if we'll ever find the perfect spot and the opportunity for him to shine. He likes that 10 role, which we know who owns that. We're not even going to mention him. He's not even on the squad, but we know him. And that spot's never going to be taken by anyone other than him. Hopefully he stays fit forever with a 99.999% availability for all his matches. But yeah, so that's kind of where I think what I can say about Mudrik, and then and those guys up front, and then Felix. I wish we can see this guy do some of the things that I saw today in the bigger matches. I think Felix is one of these players that has been showing promise for 10 years, it seems like at this point. I don't know. He's like a very old young player, you know what I mean? He's been around quite a bit. Not like he's been around, you know what I mean? But like he's been around he was supposed to impress at Atletico, at Barcelona, at Chelsea, and he doesn't seem to actually just finally explode. But today, what I appreciated, he was precise, set up some goals, scored a couple. Oh, going back to Mudrik, golazo, golazo! What a screamer of a goal! I think he's been trying to score that goal for a year and a half. It finally happened for him. If he could do that more often, because he has the ability to beat them, to get that 1 or 2 meters just by one quick movement, very fast twitch muscles, as they say, and get the shot off. If he's precise, there's something there. I remember, if you guys will remember, Willian had that ability in a different way, but with a change of pace, you just push the ball a little bit and beat the defender really quick to either whip in a ball or to make a quick run or to take a shot. And that's an incredibly powerful skill. But Willian was, though he could have been wasteful at times, he's far more precise than currently what we have coming from Mudrik. But go back to Felix. Well, let's hope he can become that player, because we need him. I am horrified or terrified that at one point we're going to lose Palmer, or that strategically we may need somebody else that can create, or that there'll be times we need to rest them, and we need this other creative 10. What I liked he did, aside from the obvious, was that even in the 80th something minute, he was dropping back behind the midway line and playing some 1-2s, both with the midfielders and the wingers, and then picking it back up and launching these passes in behind the backs of the defenders for a run. And we see Cole Palmer do that. Obviously, this was like a shorter version of it. It wasn't like a short, only 50-meter long passes, but I loved seeing it done. Cassidy did it once. And I think that's the way. If the markers follow you now, as we saw against United, probably old school sixes are probably smarter than to follow you all the way there, or the center backs come up that strong, and if they follow you, not just cut you down. That's not what happened today, so he was allowed to do it. But that's an important phase of play that I think we do need to unlock defenses that sort of lock themselves in the back. And one other thing, it seems like one would assume that Nkunku and Fernandez are going to play a part on the weekend. I really hope he didn't pull out Enzo Fernandez to play him against Arsenal. I'm okay if he plays him. I was thinking if he brings him on to control the game like we did with the guy that we gave Arsenal, Jorginho. If we're up by 1 or 2, I wish we were up by 2. But I don't think he's got the defensive chops. So maybe to control possession, but he's weak in his defensive game. And Arsenal are very good in transition when they want to. So I don't know. I really hope Enzo Maresca didn't have great plans for him other than somebody being injured or something very strategic that Lewis is not smart enough to see, or else I'd be the coach at Chelsea. And Nkunku, which that kind of makes me happy. If he does come on at some point, I like to see when he comes on, the possibility that should have happened in one of the games past is that Jackson drops to the left-hand side, which he's amazing at. If he's not having a good day, you can just drop him to the left-hand side and allow Nkunku to be more precise against the low block, for example, as a 9. And also, I think that he's more likely, Jackson on the left, to win the high balls if we have to play long when under pressure in an important game. And Nkunku can run past them. Or who's on that left side, as we know, Kureya does this run from left back to midfield, ends up being a 9 at times, or a left winger, but and definitely Neto flies. And so that'd be an interesting thing to see on the weekend. In any case, we flooded these poor folks. We kicked their butt. Amazing to see 8. I wish I was at Stamford Bridge on a night like that to get to see 8. I hope to be there in no more than a few months. And I'm excited about the game on the weekend. So a video will be coming along. Hopefully no injury news. And this is Chelsea delivered. The fellas delivered on what they needed to deliver. We did okay. We got the goals. I think anything less than 4 would have been unacceptable. They delivered the 8, and we're excited. And let's make sure that we bring this trophy home. We need to complete the full set of European championships. If we're in it, we're going to win it. I know we will. Excited about it. And let's talk soon and see you guys. Have a good one.